It is the final game of day 2 and our chance to see this Cloud9 roster change in action again. They'll go toe-to-toe with Envy to see if they can go crazy against a team that isn't Team Cruelty. For the final time today, welcome back in our NAL studios here in Philadelphia. I'm Jonas Willinger alongside Foxe and Laxing. Laxing, this one is I don't even know what your name is at this point. Lax, Gabe, tell me this. 2 teams with a lot to prove this stage. Lock in.
Tell us
2
about
teams with a lot to prove this stage. Envy, obviously, roster change, a lot to bounce back from. Cloud9, bigger roster change, something to prove.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at Cloud9, their performance yesterday against Dark Zero, we really saw them take the cake in that matchup. It just was at the end, the cake got stolen back. And then you look at Envy. Envy, on the other hand, they look really good statistically that we just showed right there, but that's due to a fact that Cruelty just did not show up to standards compared to what we even saw today. So today is a really good proving ground for both these teams, probably more so on Envy's sake, but still for both these teams to show that the roster change that they made is the right direction and the way that they want to go.
And that was the big discussion for Cloud9 yesterday. And still, we don't know if it's a hit or a miss quite yet. We did know that there are some big differences. Hat is in this lineup. Packer is gone. The IGL role now Dream's responsibility, but it seemed like against EZ yesterday, Fox, it was a pretty decent performance.
It was. I mean, I think it really comes down to the preparation Cloud9 has. I'm still not a believer in the Packer for Hat swap. At the end of the day, though, I mean, they did come with the same level of preparation, so kudos to Vivid, the coach. Obviously, they've been putting in a lot of good work outside of the server. We just need them not to run out of gas when they actually get into the server.
Well, in the server yesterday, Giddy was one of those top players. In the context of this entire season, though, this entire year, it's been especially important, right? Those last 2 days of Stage 1 to now.
Yeah, I mean, Giddy's definitely been a slept-on performer for Cloud9. He's always kind of in the shadows. He's not necessarily doing bad, but he's been slowly getting better and better. I mean, from the moment that we saw him play on Labs against SR, made a couple of mistakes. Then they played on Labs last stage against Cruelty. It looked a lot better. Giddy looked to be proven a little bit better. And then Cloud9 against Dark Zero yesterday, that's when we saw Giddy have a lights-out performance, and he really has been slowly improving. He's been learning from his mistakes, and that's what we want to see from a player from Cloud9, because we just talked about how Kobe was the only positive player in last stage. We need to have somebody else who's going to be able to lift up that heavyweight with him. We didn't know if it was going to be Hat, but so far, yesterday, it was Giddy. And look at the stats, 2 games from Stage 1 into now, slow but surely he is improving. And hopefully, we're able to see the same type of improvement from the rest of the Cloud9 roster behind Giddy as well.
Well, Giddy contributed to probably one of the strong points of that Cloud9 roster yesterday, and that was their ability to take some fast engagements and get the man advantage pretty early on.
I mean, that was the strength of Cloud9, is very quickly they were able to identify what they needed, what areas of the map that they needed, or what they needed to deny from Dark Zero, and they fought it all together all at once. The early game to mid-game from Cloud9 was very strong, and we thought Cloud9 was going to run away with the game, but that is the issue that it comes back down to, is it's the preparation. This preparation from the early to mid-game works out for Cloud9, but it's still the same issues of late-game stratting. And that was an issue that Packer had. It's an issue that Cloud9's still having with Dream IGLing. So, that being said, obviously, you're getting the start done. We just have to make sure that we're able to close it out. That's something that can also be done in preparation. And especially off of the back of Giddy continuing this performance, that's something that we hope Cloud9 will be able to carry on, which is just making sure that they're able to communicate and focus on that priority late game as well.
Looking to keep on improving and see what that story arc, how it comes to a close for Cloud9. For Envy, on the other hand, that story is all about the progression from Stage 1 to now. From last to currently holding first place, 7 perfect rounds against Cruelty, 7-0, top team right now.
Hey, Envy has done the absolute unthinkable. I said it in the beginning of this, you know, one player is not going to boost you from 10th place, even in the top 4. I was dead wrong. They jumped to first place after one game. You know, in terms of even their attacking stats, they went from a 28% now to 100%. Obviously, Envy has done everything correct. They made me put my foot in my mouth with everything that I was saying about it. Obviously, this is a joke. They played one game. They only had one attack. They have a lot of siege left. So realistically, we still have to see a lot more performance from these guys, but nothing to take away from the game of Cruelty. Sure, yes, Cruelty didn't play that strong, but you could clearly see from Stage 1 to Stage 2, the communication and coordination is definitely there. JJ clearly had a plan on this map setup. Granted, they did only have one attack, and again, again, that's where I want to see that really excel and ramp up. But outside of it, the defense was really well, and even for Aiden, he played extremely well.
And today, Cruelty's performance, getting 5 rounds, it made Envy look a little bit better. I'm not going to lie, right? It makes that Skyscraper performance seem like it may have been stronger than it was. But we talk about that turbo start, right? And you got to talk about the man added to this roster. And once again, he's leaving the room. Added to this roster at the beginning of Stage 2, and that was Aiden, who performed quite well in that game yesterday.
Yeah, just let me give a quick reference to Snake. I mean, 13-2, that was a phenomenal performance, but we got to lock in here on Aiden. He's the new face to this roster. He's the new face to the league. To be able to come in, and I said this going into that matchup, this should be a game that should automatically make Aiden feel comfortable, to find his stride, find his footing, get that comfort settling it into a T1 level match. Again, sure, it wasn't a team like Shopify or a team like SSG, but for a brand new player, you have a lot of nerves coming into this. So for the fact that he had a good performance, they had a dominant game, that only sets you up for success later on. But that also goes to show sometimes for a new player, when you start out so strong, once you hit that brick wall of having a bad game, it's about how do you bounce back. But we won't know until this game unfolds and really see how much Aiden can bring from that first game that he played into this game now against Cloud9.
Odd anecdote from me here. I got a text from my mom today, and it said, I watched that pre-show about this new guy, Aiden, yesterday, and I was so worried that you guys were setting him up for failure. How did he do? I haven't responded to that text yet, but I'm going to tell her, hey, he actually performed well, and now we're going to get another chance to see him today.
You know what's crazy? I got the same text from your mom, too.
Take us through the map.
We're all just in a group chat, actually.
I mean, when it comes to Cloud9, they like the bigger maps, they like labs, they like lair, so I'm expecting C9 to maybe want to try to replicate that type of map. Envy, everything is brand new for them. Yeah, we're going to see a lair pick from Envy, and this is where I might be a little worried if I'm Envy, obviously, just because bigger maps are always harder to attack on, always harder for a newer team to get comfortable on, and they were just playing Skyscraper, which is arguably the smallest map. That being said, it's a brand new team, and I think one thing that you said is, what will Aiden bring to the team? I think Aiden's bringing the confidence. I think that's something that teams that are just starting out in the league desperately need, is to be able to feel, hey, we deserve to be here. We deserve to play against these top teams, and especially that he did so well in his first matchup in the NAL. It puts them in such a situation where they have that confidence. They're playing against teams that are maybe on the same level as them, so I believe that momentum on their side, they should be able to have a good confidence going to lab, going to any map when it comes to Cloud9.
I mean, I just want to quickly touch up on the fact that they're starting on defense here. They can instantly start out comfortable. They don't have to do anything too crazy. They don't have to do too many adaptations, at least in the early to mid round. The late round is where I really want to see if JJ is really paying attention, where Cloud9 has been fumbling and regressing. Is they start out good in those mid to late rounds. I mean, they start out in the mid to early rounds, but those late rounds is where they struggle. So I'm curious if they find a player individually by themselves. Do they collapse on that, throw a wrench in that setup, and not allow Cloud9 to even be remotely comfortable when they have to go for these executions?
All right, 2 big, bold Envy predictions. Can Cloud9 continue to show that this roster move was actually a decent swap, or will Envy keep that momentum going from yesterday? For the final time today, over to Lynx and XR Troika to find out.
Thank you very much, Jonah. And while this might not be necessarily our match of the day, which is difficult whenever Shopify and Dark Zero play each other inside of the NAL, this is one I am quite excited about. 2 of the only teams inside of NA to make roster changes. I know how crazy that must sound. NA loves roster changes like peanut butter loves jelly, but only these 2 teams, well, not only these 2 teams, but these 2 teams are one of the only ones that changed players, and only one apiece. Hat onto Cloud9, Aiden onto Envy, and both of them with a similar history, Ollie. Even though Cloud9 lost yesterday, Envy obviously 7-0 Cruelty, but I think we'd be hard-pressed to say that an 8-6 loss to DZ is not a great start for C9.
I think it's a fantastic start for C9. I can't wait to see what they've got to show us here tonight. I think you'd be a fool to expect or to hope for an Envy 7-0 again. I'm not sure that Lightning will strike twice. You know what? I'm not going to call that one. Call me crazy, call me conservative, but I'm not going to call that one. Cloud9 on the flip side, they really impressed me yesterday against Dark Zero. An 8-6 on Nighthaven Labs, pushing DZ into an overtime. It also means with DZ's latest result just coming in, that both of their games so far to kick off the stage have been OTs, and as such, they haven't got as many points as they would have liked from those fixtures. So Cloud9 showing that they are here to play and play in a big way, but Envy are going to be their opponents here tonight, and we are going to be throwing down on Lair. So we've had a good couple of bit of variety in the maps tonight. Seen a little bit of cafe, a little bit of labs, a little bit of bank. I'll be honest, I think the bank and the labs have saved it for me. I think cafes and lairs, not my favorite maps, but certainly Lair has grown quite a lot inside of popularity, and interestingly is both of these two teams' fourth preference map.
A lot of similarities then. And you know, I actually do think two cafes are about balanced out by a bank and a Night Haven for me. I think I would agree with that.
5 seconds to go.
I think, like, as much as I don't like cafe, I think it is balanced out by the combination of I really like bank and I really like Night Haven.
What do you think about Lair?
It's alright. Honestly, like, the consensus I've seemed to find is, like, a lot of people really love playing it. I'm not the biggest fan of casting it. I think it's a bit hard to watch at times. I think a lot of the color schemes in the map is very similar, which makes it difficult. Especially once you get past, like, the exterior rooms, like the staircases. It gets kind of samey to my eyes.
I actually like casting it a lot more than I like playing it.
Well, all due respect, I'm not talking about you playing it.
Oof. Oof. Hey, the ranky stack's been revived, by the way.
I've been slacking. I'm sorry.
I
I saw though. Tristan has been adding it relentlessly. Maybe a lot of Denari fans over across the pond. Speaking of, by the way, not Denari. This actually has nothing to relate to what I was talking about. Something that we were curious about is who pick up the shield, as Cloud9 have, unfortunately, dropped Packer, brought in Hat. It seems Dream, at least in round 1, will be the one to pick up that burden. And in yesterday's game, it was him as well. Monty 3 times, Blackbeard once. Dream, the longest tenured player on this roster, not on the roster, but longest tenured player in the history of the game, who happens to be on this roster, will take up the mantle of the shield player. Probing for info earlier outside of ops, now rotating over to Newbridge. Hole directly in his way. There is no pocket reinforcement for Envy, so that rotate hole we just saw Dream look at will remain open for the duration of this round.
Safe to say that it's been a slow approach here from Cloud9. That and the Envy haven't been vying for control at the fringes of the map. Instead, they've been fairly well concentrated. If you look at the lineup and worry a little bit for the side of Cloud9, they're relying quite heavily on this Monty and the Glaz to do a lot of the heavy lifting and give them an opening into sight. And with the cautious nature that Envy are approaching round 1 with, I'm not sure that they're going to be given that opportunity. Toxic Babe canister is going to start to go out now as well. Very well timed from JJ. You can hear the second one dissipate as well. With 10 players left alive and 30 seconds left on the clock, there's one thing for sure, it's going to be a bloodbath. Dream opens up with a nade. There is a player getting pinched downstairs.
Oh! And that's Aiden, who somehow peeked around the corner, taking down Kobilax. Unfortunately, that double up on the opposite side of Green Stairs split into 2 1v1s, yet Giddy on the fadeaway just manages to clothesline Aiden on the retreat. It is going to be down to the wire, but only in time, as when it comes to the kills, it is Cloud9 all across the board. The new pickup with 1 day and a few scrims under his belt will do the talking on Cloud9's first win on the attack.
Hat being in the right place at the right time. I kind of liked that play from Aiden. Obviously looking to play downstairs below with the C4, try and deny a plant, deny a little bit of entry into sight. Just unfortunate for him that it didn't pay off too well.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
I don't know if you can say anything really bad about the way that Envy defended that, other than maybe they didn't do enough. Were they just trying to turtle in and bunker down a little bit too much, maybe?
That's interesting you say that, because I was actually thinking the opposite. I was thinking that maybe because you have Cloud9 working the site quite well, but I'm thinking maybe if we don't have Aiden down below, which is ironic because he did get a kill. He did get one of the only kills, but still being off the site, Cloud9 know it's a 5v4. Then once they take down JJ, they know there's only 3 players on the site. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Aiden's got to sit literally in the site, but I thought joining the structure on the top floor, that was actually what I was thinking. Which, I'm not saying I'm right and you're wrong. Just interesting we had divergent thoughts.
Yeah, it's a couple of different ways of thinking about it.
Because by the same
I don't
token...
think Envy are going to beat themselves up too much, though.
No, Cloud9 took that very well. Also, I mean, Hat, 3 kills. Really good utility for Dream. Very conservative shield play, too. Not overextending, which is a big issue with how C9 played the shields previously. And obviously, I've seen Wildcard played shields. There's a lot of time for things to either get better or get worse very quickly, depending on what happens this stage. But that at least was very good shield play for Dream.
No shield for round 2, though. Instead, they're going to be rocking the gridlock. Got the Dokkaebi from Silent as well. I do enjoy the irony in that. Aiden looking to cause a bit of a nuisance on the mute once again. Defending that basement level, but with a fairly hefty spread in and amongst the map. It's to be expected when you bring in things like a Solace, like a Mozzie, and try and punish that drone information game a little bit. He's done a fairly good job of it. Only 3 drones left and just under 2 minutes left on the clock, so information isn't going to be free-flowing for Cloud9. And when you don't have a shield, that can pose a little bit of a problem, especially when you've got stragglers in and around the mid-floor. Dream sees to it that Rival, at least, won't have a part to play.
Though there are still others who could take the stage, Rival especially on that mid-floor. Holding that tight corridor with the shotgun could prove to be a problem, especially with the staircase so close by for exfiltration. But the broader game on this middle floor has been lost. It's just whether or not the true battle and the true war can be won on the site overall. Cloud9 lacking for vertical only insofar, or only if those 8 remaining skeleton key shots or the skeleton key shots that Giddy has used have not been used effectively. But we'll just have to see if that's the case. I'd like to maybe see a Ram, like to see some other stuff, but actually, I kind of would like to see Silent to have 1 Dokkaebi call in pocket, because with the low drone count, there are some really good angles inside of the site. That drone from Giddy's nasty, but JJ and Aiden both holding the off spot. Aiden, I think, just overplays his hand. Tries to swing up the stairs with the shotgun. Could have easily contested that close on the bottom. Still even. Actually advantaged Envy. A Snake with a kill backs up. Dream on the floor makes this a 2v3. Now you're really wishing you had something like a Dokkaebi call. All you've got is 1 flash, 1 nade, and your IGL on 1 HP. Planter certainly on 1 HP. 10 seconds remaining. And behold all of their positions. Waiting for Cloud9 to push. JJ tries to do something, but ends up losing his life in the process. Now Cloud9 have an advantage, but Snake, 2 kills to finish things off, and arguably the most important one of the round, detonates that planter and ties the game by round 2.
Really important C4 and a kill there. Honestly, when I saw JJ go for that play, I'm thinking you're trying a little bit too hard. I was a little bit critical that they sort of bunkered in on site and let a lot of things happen to them. And then there you get caught. JJ showing the strats for the world to see there. See the play that we were on about just then. Snake, though, able to tie a bow on it. C4 and a kill with the Roni. Cloud9 have suffered their first loss on this attacking side, and I doubt it will be the last there as they attacked into basement. They did a decent attack and a decent job of that top floor, but there are more than a few sites that you need to be good at to come away with rounds successfully, and they're going to be going to the mid floor this time. Now we see a lot of different sort of ideologies of how to attack this site. Some of it hinges along a shield that is being brought by Kobilax. Obviously, with the 2 primary shields being banned out, you're left with a Blackbeard. Capitao is often chosen as well, just because of the fire and the smoke arrows. You're able to obscure some vision, give yourself a nice little blocker. But then the jury's out on whether it's a full top floor clear or a sort of half top floor clear? Or even, is there a top floor clear at all? You're just going to rely on utility and push in and try and get a plant down dependent on the defender's setup?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Because, like, that's the funny thing about this site, is we often focus on what the attack's going to do, and we treat the defense as not really having any agency. Because effectively, the defense is probably going to do the same thing that every defense on the planet does, which is like 4 people top floor. So it's just like, okay, what's the attack going to do in response? We play this game, what are they going to do? And accurately and fairly, by the way, we play this game. But as you can see, it's going to be a vertical hold from the defense. And as Ali said, will it be a full clear, a half clear? Will they try to go for a direct? Always risky, but teams sometimes don't have any better options. Especially difficult right now, as an impact grenade has gone out, destroyed part of that Selma. At least, wait. No, I actually think it detonated. He might be able to vault through that. It's a bit dark and it's late at night. My eyesight's starting to go anyway. I've been reading a lot recently. There we go.
One of the
Now it's
worrying
open.
factors for Cloud9 here is the fact that the Warden's been chosen. So that kind of forces you into more of a clear, because you can't just rely on, oh, well, the smokes are going to block the line of sight. I'd like to think that they've recognized that, because they are really committing to it, although they weren't ready for that push.
Weren't ready for that push. Envy, at least, reacting in the moment extemporaneously, able to get the better advantage of the situation, but it's about as even as you could get for a 4v3. Aiden and Emilio below half HP. Cloud9 might only have 3 bodies alive. They've dealt a lot of damage. Kobe almost flicks around. Well, he does flick. Securing the kill? Well, that's another question. Not a logical consequence by any sense of the word. Rival also now put quite low. This defensive hold at the top floor has been pushed back heavily, but one remains. One still up above. Thrown behind the desk. Spotted! And somehow Rival gets hacked. Are you kidding me? 2 players pushing a guy prone, and somehow it is Giddy in the 1v2. With Aiden low. And 2 smoke bolts to his name. Not saying it's winnable, but there is a way. Can Giddy find the right angles to block off? Hatch drop will reveal his position, confirmed by the BP. Both players on back green, though. Whether Giddy knows it or not, he's got a way in. Not necessarily a safe plant, but he at least has a brief moment of respite. He will get it down successfully. Surely got to come up quick. Pops the Vulcan pack, swings around. Still actively being spotted. But how has he got this far? How has he put JJ on the floor? And how has Aiden rotated up? Dead silent, he's made that flank. And the new pickup continues to pay off as he gets Envy 2 in a row.
Defenders disabled the diffuser. Defenders
It's a bit
win.
disappointing from Giddy to try and confirm that kill onto JJ, isn't it? Like, you don't need to confirm the kill. You've got the down. Just the Vulcan canister had done all of the hard work for you. You knew they couldn't come from that angle anymore. I thought it was a genius play. If he rotates through, deletes the BP, then able to sort of isolate JJ and win the engagement, it, you know, very easily could have been a different story. It was a very slim chance as it was. But Envy able to claw yet another round on there. Round 3 bans are in, or should I say round 4 bans are in, and we are going to remove that final shield as well. Gone is the Blackbeard, and a timeout called for Cloud9. Do you think the content is, guys, they've banned all of the shields. What are we going to do now? We're just going to spend 45 seconds talking about that?
I think they'll probably be, dude, why is Hat dissociating?
He's not even frozen, he's just zoned.
Dude,
He's either locked in or locked out.
dude, he's wired in. You know what I love about Giddy? He's always looking off to the side chewing gum. Like, Giddy's always chewing gum, contemplating. I appreciate it. That is actually one small thing you do really, or at least, well, I say you, I'm talking about me, that I really enjoy about this job is you do get to see some players just do have quirks on their webcam, like little ticks or things they always do. Giddy always chews gum. I don't know if Hat always dissociates. Maybe that's just a tonight thing. That's just something I notice right now. But Giddy always chews gum.
Keep an eye on it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. We'll keep a tally. Today's Hat dissociation count 1. We'll see if it continues over the course of NAL Stage 2.
We used to
always
rate people's
emoting.
backgrounds on EUL.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Who's
Liam
got the
Gibbs
best-
had the best background.
Yeah, that's true. Who's got the best background in NA, do you think?
Might be Dream, honestly.
Dream does have a good background. Well, honestly, like, okay, if you want my opinion, like, you gotta have two categories. Streamers have to be included in one category and then excluded in another.
Okay.
Because like, obviously, if somebody streams, which Dream does, go watch him. I think it's Dream is it Dream is Life on Twitch? I think it is. Like, he streams. He's gonna have a good background, right?
I'll tell you who's not up there for best background. Ambi. That looks like a cell.
You don't like the stark white wall with like a shadow in the top, right?
It just looks a little bit sinister.
I think construction site on Team Cruelty might take #1. I don't remember who plays. I think it's Fatal. I don't remember who plays in the construction site, but that's #1 for me. Anyway.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
Anyway, tangent cut short. Tangent cut off. Timeout done. There's in fact no shield, because as Ollie pointed out, they've all been banned. You know what else there isn't? Aiden roaming anymore. He's been doing it quite consistently and silent, just crouch walking his way through the map. With no drones, by the way, because, well, there are none remaining. Well, that's just not true, actually. The overlay lied to me. As Hat and Dream allegedly both have that.
Still, not very many drones, I think it's fair to say.
That'd be accurate.
And I think that's sort of qualified by the fact that Silent is just sort of taken out. I'm seeing Dream setting up a drone just inside of Rocket here. Giddy flicking one as well for the moment, but Snake doing such a good job. We had a great view there of that kill that Dream's able to get to level things back. And Snake's super low HP, so there might only be a minute left, but it's still doable.
Crazy hop out from Snake. Bit of a gamble, but one that pays off. SSG would be proud of that one. He cranks indeed on 1 HP, not worried whatsoever. Flashbang's going in. Giddy's got some nades. Dream just barely makes it by, but on the re-challenge, it's JJ to finish it off. 3 in a row. Timeout ineffective. Paid compliments to Cloud9 for their attack in round 1. Those are the only compliments I will have paid to Cloud9 so far.
JJ still with his trademark scream to camera at the end of the round as well. It's high up there on the list of things you love to see. I really felt like Cloud9 were going to get an upper hand there because they'd got a really good read on Aiden. He's consistently roaming on that mute. And it was very quickly dealt with. But aside from that, there was no plan of how to get into anything past the top of Rocket Stairs. I'm not even sure if we saw anybody inside of Ops Room.
I don't think I even saw
It seemed like a really weak attack.
I would agree. And that being the only... Okay, a few things, actually. One, that being the only site Cloud9 won previously. 2, the fact that by the time they get that entry pick, they only have 2 drones remaining. 3, they get that entry pick, it doesn't seem like it's off a drone, it just seems like Silent is crouch walking through and catches Aiden sprinting with his gun down and still loses most of his HP. Most of these rounds from NB have been a little close. You know, 2 players alive, 2 players alive. 3? On the site you won previously? It's not even like the shields were the secret sauce. Cloud9 brought the shields twice and only won 1 attack. Well, one of them. 2 times they brought them. It's a bit worrying. And especially on basement. Think of how long it took for Cloud9 to run into a defender. Aiden was playing right on the staircase. Right on yellow stairs. It gets a kill, immediately falls back. Very slow attack. And constantly Cloud9 finding these openings. Not just the kills, because they actually 3 out of 4 opening duels so far. It's been the openings into the site. And as you pointed out, into the building generally. The Cloud9 have always seemed to fall short this game.
I don't know if Cloud9 are banking on like a better second half, given that we know that Envy, at least in stage 1, were a team that struggled quite a lot with the attack. So it's quite a gamble to make, and they could do with picking up a couple of rounds here before the side swap. They really don't want to be going into this second half at, you know, a 4-2 or 5-1. That could be pretty devastating. So a very important round here in round number 5, demonstrated by the fact that it is going a heck of a lot slower. Still, whether the drone overlay counter thing is entirely accurate or not, still not seeing a lot of drones down there on the player cards. Gitty with 1. We're not going to have a Dokubi call out there. JJ will just put that down so he can jump back into his yokai. And with the time the way that it is, those yokais could become very important pieces of utility indeed. Again, another round where everyone's still alive as we enter that final minute. C9, they have pushed around, they have taken top floor control. No one from the side of Envy looking to try and challenge onto it until now.
Emilio tries to challenge and will think better of it. Unfortunately, a little too late. That might just be what C9 need. Dream's found a way in. Silent also watching his own flank bottom rocket. Dream forced off in the process, by the way. The entire round is being won all around him. Plant not even a necessity. It'll add insult to injury to be sure, but 1v5, make that 1v4, make that 1v3. Aiden with a nice flick has put on an impressive individual showcase, not only today, yesterday as well against Team Cruelty. Those 2 frags are impactless though, and the 3 will not be acquired. A little bit of a delay after that tack timeout, but Cloud9 will get there second. Still looking for more.
Yeah, they're on the board, aren't they? 2 rounds up there now. We can start to try and build and work with this. I think Envy are playing a very strange brand of Siege at the moment. I don't know if it's... I don't think that they're scared. I just think that they're not doing loads. They're letting a lot of things happen around them at the minute. It's like we either get a couple of early kills or everyone's alive until the final 30 seconds. And there's kind of no middle ground. Not sure. It's impressive from C9 regardless, because they're matching the pace of the game quite well. If the space is there, they're willing to take it, and they're recognizing, yo, we've got loads of time, we can deal with this. We can really start to formulate a solid plan and execute onto the site instead of rushing something and skipping a few steps. They've got plenty of time to dot the I's and cross the T's, and that's because Envy are kind of giving them that time to do it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, it's kind of hard to figure out for me. Like, when you have teams that take that long a time, when you have teams that are kind of waiting for those openings to be given, or they do take that control that is given, as you pointed out. By the same token, you look at all the utility that Envy had on the site, the Yokais, the Vulcan packs. Had the Yokais maybe been in a better position, are things different? Had Emilio not swung out in the late round there with 42 seconds remaining, would things be different? I don't know. It's kind of always hard when it's a 5v5 that late, because it comes down to such small things, and sometimes that happens to be something you did well. Sometimes it happens to be something the opponent didn't do well. Sometimes it happens to be both at the same time. At least right now, Dokubi call goes out. This is a position we've seen Kobe play across both stages for C9 and play quite effectively. Some of C9's best performances were led by Kobe putting in some of his best on Dokubi specifically with that SMG-12 in hand. That being said, I imagine Envy will be expecting that, but expecting and countering it are 2 different things.
Ooh, JJ. Gonna get taken out early doors there by Silent. But how impactful we've seen Echo drones be tonight in general. You don't have to be a die-hard fan of Siege to know that that is a big impact and a heavy blow for the defense. Especially with the way that some of these rounds have been playing. Just dancing with Rival at the moment. Vulcan pack will be exploded. Nades sent out there as well.
There we go. We'll take that. Emilio peeking around the corner. Dream might have just found a way in. Don't even need to clear it. Silent Kobe watching those vertical angles to put Rival in a difficult spot. Talk about one of the most efficient top floor clears we've ever seen. Only one player up there, and it's a flawless round for C9 as Ollie and I struggled to find the words for them in round 5. I think we can agree on one thing in round 6. They had the exact win condition in mind. Put that diffuser down, bait the swings, win the fight, and steps 1, 2, and 3 all came up Cloud9.
Well, Cloud9 have done a really good job of salvaging that first half. And for a time there, Envy were firmly in the driver's seat, but aside from a couple of rounds from Envy, I don't really look at this scoreline as 3-3 and feel like the game is even at the moment. I think that Cloud9 have warmed up far better into the fixture and are playing at a pace that matches what Envy are throwing out there quite well indeed. My worry now is for Envy on this attacking side. I've already mentioned that throughout stage 1, they weren't the team that was known for their attacking win percentage. And I don't know how much they're going to be able to have changed in this offseason, given that they didn't go to EWC. Cloud9 to get onto the defense at a 3-3 split. I don't think they're going to be feeling too bad about that.
No.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
If we really want to talk about Cloud9's half, you mentioned them warming up the fixture, but Cloud9 had 5 of those opening kills in that round. 5 rounds they started in a 5v4. Obviously, 5v4, I'm never going to say, oh, team got an opening pick, they should have won the round. The point being, they started out an advantage. They had an opening. They had the ability to convert that round in a very tangible way. That there's a reason we measure conversions as a statistic. It is indicative, usually, of a good position that a team had to win the round. I'm not saying it would have been a 5-1 half, but they had the opportunity. There was clearly more left on the table, especially since one of those rounds they got the opening pick. And he only lost one more person. It was by and large an ND win through and through. So there's more they could have. They did leave on the table that half. Would have been a 4-2, 5-1. I don't know, but it could have been better. Could have been more dominant. It could have put Envy in a trickier position. And a team coming off of a 7-0 yesterday and having to deal with a much tougher game today can always be difficult. That's when you get to the defensive half. You try to get the ego high early. Silent going for the spawn peak will take down the Deimos early and take down Snake in particular, who might I add went 13-2 yesterday. Silent will try to go for a second, loses his life in the process. And while you take out Snake, who was big yesterday, Deimos for an Azami, that's a pretty good trade on both sides.
I think you'd be fairly happy for that. Very powerful defense operator and a very annoying and equally powerful attacking operator, especially in the hands of Snake, who's only 5-5, but I think has still had huge impact in this game. But remember, at least 2 of his kills pretty much single-handedly winning the round. Gitty, he's going to start to throw a little bit of disrespect down as well. The old Malusi run out there. There's Emilio, the next player to fall. Gone are the Grimbees. Gone is the Deimos. Not really got too much left to start working with now. Yep, sure, you've got the Maverick, but the wall's already open. I don't think the Blowtorch is going to see much action in this round. And yeah, you've got the ROU projector, but you haven't necessarily got the info to work off the back of that as well.
Yeah. This is going to be a real tough one. The ROUs will have to do a lot of heavy lifting, and it would also require Hat really fumbling those smokes, or Dream fumbling that C4. Well, the C4 went early. 2 destroy an ROU, but Rival's got some critical redundancy there. 3 more to go. So a lot of pressure now being placed on Hat to land those toxic canisters properly. The question I imagine that is, I suppose, moving about in Cloud9's head is where this diffuser is going to go. Rocket Banshee's been triggered. Same with the Goo Mine, so you know somebody's over there. We've also seen that ROU thrown over on op side, so you can reasonably predict the executes coming from this direction. Rival and JJ push deeper, though. Looking to pressure this player in bathroom. Mavic Wall will find one. Nice little mini play, a little close. They do get the job done. Still players deep inside of the site, though. In fact, one holding default. That's Dream with the SMG-11, and nobody on the breach. He's got the exact line to shut down this push entirely. JJ will look to create another angle. He'll swing out, land the pre-fire, but Aiden's watching. It is an extremely good reset from Envy, turning this 3v4 into a 3v2. The round isn't done, but Hat's just burned his last smoke, and his flashes go out. They've got the guns to hold down these swings, to control C9. And with Kobe on 1 HP, spots one on the diffuser, but it's a crossfire. He's got to find a way around. As long as Aiden and JJ, leader and rookie, hold tight and hold strong, they can make that comeback a reality. That is the kind of discipline you want to see in one of our newest teams in the NAL.
JJ hitting us with the SSG flex right there. I feel like I've got some apologizing to do. I was giving it the big and saying, oh, I don't think we're going to see the blowtorch. I'm kind of questioning the lineup. That was the key to getting the plant down.
It actually was. Wow, you're right, actually. Like, it was the key to getting the plant down.
Without that Maverick, not only do we not see some of the kills come through that we saw, I mean, Dream, like the wall is quite literally getting open next to you. But we also don't see the kit going down, which, I mean, that was the win con. That guaranteed the round right there. Envy, first round on the attack. Gonna walk away with a win. This is like entirely new and revitalized team.
Okay, it is the first round. Let's calm down.
Or am I getting ahead of myself now?
You called the Cruelty win at 5-2 earlier, and they literally did not win a single more round after that.
Yeah, they were trolling though. That was like a dead cert.
I think we need to chill. I mean, I will say this. Completely new team? I don't know. In that round, the mini plays around the Maverick were genuinely very good. And especially, honestly, like, I would have said the same thing as a joke in your situation. Like, Maverick blowtorch. What's he going to do, throw it at him? But it actually was the most impactful thing. And the way JJ and everyone around him worked around that blowtorch was really, really impressive. So, while I'm happy too early to say it's a new team or that the comeback might happen, it was a really, really strong round and a really, really strong start. Not a guarantee of a good half. Cloud9 won their first round. It took quite a while to get settled into the game. But let's see how it goes here. No Maverick for JJ this time, instead picking up the Blackbeard. That Talon Shield to create space. So will it be a full clear? Will it be a bit more of a direct? A lot of drones on this bottom floor. But really not that many drones actually remaining for Envy.
Not a lot of utility left either for C9. That Twitch drone has seen incredible value from Snake. The nade can go through and deal with some of those Vulcan packs as well. Envy just going to be juggling the diffuser for the time being. It feels like it's moved a lot quicker this round. We're just about at the halfway point, and already Envy are knocking on the door of the site. You can see there is a little bit of a presence upstairs. Rival will be up there with the sledge, and he does have a defender to contend with. If you can open up some of these lines of sight and some of these angles, there is a chance under the cover of the Blackbeard that they're able to work through and try and find a plant opportunity right now. There is plenty of denial, though, in the hands of C9. And that kill onto Aiden isn't going to make the plant any easier.
No, it won't. Aiden, who's been quite a solid pickup for Envy through these past 2 days. Only player positive for Envy so far, in fact. A lot of that coming on, well, not even coming on the defenses. He did just get a 3K in the round we just watched. Giddy going for a big flank. Retaking the top floor. This might be enough to put Envy in the dirt. Rival caught with his back turned, making Vert so focused. So what will Envy call now? They've been at the door for so long, but Cloud9 are getting comfortable. Him and Emilio will pinch, but it's only good for one. Doesn't really have a good opportunity to pick him back up, especially when Silent puts him out of the round. JJ's got the gun trained on that door. Nice shot on the other site. There's just too many bodies to deal with. Cloud9 have won all but one opening engagement this series, and yet they have only just now tied the game for a second time this map.
A very back and forth fixture. I don't think I was expecting this one to be as close as it's panning out to be. Giddy with that really early kill, and Hat with the one onto Snake as well. You can kind of see the vision from Envy. That sort of kind of half clear, kind of direct approach. Just send somebody upstairs on the sledge to try and make something happen, but it was a little bit of a long shot, and I think that Cloud9, you can't fool them like that. You need to come up with a little bit more. You either need to go for that full vert clear or that full side push. I don't think you can go half pregnant on trying to do a bit of a mix and match of half-heartedly attempting both.
It's also in stark contrast to OXG, who I have routinely across both stages and so today complimented them for playing stationary, never like overthinking things on the defense, always just playing their positions and not complicating things. What you can give C9 is that they will take gambles, and those gambles will sometimes not pay off. But more often than not, and especially against some of the more mid-tier teams, they are able to make flanks like that are well-timed, well-thought-out, and they have the mechanical skill to back it up. Kobilax, generally, Giddy and Silent in this particular game. I mean, Silent is, I think, 4-0 on the entry so far. Dream 2-1, by the way. It's literally, aside from one round, it's been Silent and Dream in the opening duels almost entirely. But Cloud9 will often make those kind of aggressive plays, and they have the gun skill to make them work. So it's the kind of thing you need to expect, and you can expect. It's another thing entirely to be ready for it when the comms are flying all around you, you're dealing with all sorts of information, then you remember, oh yeah, this team likes to flank and does it pretty well.
Four, all level, round 9. JJ back on that Blackbeard, trying to make it work. Really yet to see significant impact on that side. Hat, open kill onto Snake. He's really got Snake's number. Kobilax, you have to move if the nade symbol is red. Like, if it's red, that means bad. Red, run, okay? I hope that's clear.
I believe the phrase is actually red rum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see? Yeah, I really am quite something. Dream rotating back to the site as Envy's full clear of the top floor seem to work quite well, actually. Though there is avenues that Cloud9 can fight back, namely... Well, actually, I was going to say namely Hat on these green stairs, but look at the walk around Silence going for at the moment. All the way on the opposite side of New Bridge. Hat can get the info. Maybe call the play for Silent to rotate up or rotate back, or at least can bait a lot of the attention, and maybe the idea is Silent goes unread on that angle. So if Envy try to push down Green, then he can peek around the corner, knock him down as they try to move to the middle floor. Plenty of time for Envy to reset, though. Drones as well to find that information. 45 seconds is one of those, I suppose, deceptively short times. It doesn't really feel like a lot, but you can get a miraculous amount done if you're well coordinated. JJ looking for an entry, trying to find a spot to move in with this Talon Shield diffuser in hand. We've seen how sometimes the mixture of shield and case can be quite difficult if JJ gets in the wrong spot, but he'll creep forward. Breach close, so you'll have a very close position, very tight position to find out. On the retake, Cloud9 doing all right, but of the many players that fall on Envy, it's not JJ with that diffuser. He'll put it down successfully, but left a little alone, yet not without any defenses, not without recourse. ADS is in time, puts Dream alone in the 1v2. He's got these vertical angles. It is usually such a strong position, but with Envy, never mind. I thought all on the bottom floor. Rival upstairs gives the 1v1, and it's all up to JJ. Captain versus Captain. Dream will begin the first tick of that diffuser. JJ brings the sound cue so Dream falls off. Gotta be careful as he moves close, but he puts him on his back and slaps him down. JJ barking in his face, yelling at the camera, energized as Envy retake their lead.
That's the impact that we wanted to see off the Blackbeard right there. Able to get the kit down, able to win the 1 versus 1, and he got a kill prior to that as well. Envy again take a narrow lead in what is turning out to be a bit of a barn burner fixture right now. And I think it is no surprise to anybody that the BB will be banned here in what will be our final round of bans of the evening. Envy doing such a good job there. There's a lot of things that were going in their favor. They had some really good utility usage. It's very seldom that we actually see a kill come through with a nade onto a player that isn't really pinched or downed or under any massive pressure. Still stand by it that Kobe could have gotten out of the way of that. He did a really good job with the util. Great job on the clear. Big spot into the site. And to get all that done without actually opening the exterior wall, Like,
Impressive.
it just shouldn't happen, you know?
Reloading. 10 seconds left before insertion.
It shouldn't happen. It's kind of crazy we even got there. Like, I just saw JJ crouch walking in. I'm like, man, they don't even have a breach open? It's fully electrified, too. Another round, by the way. C9 opening pick, and somehow Envy still recovered. 1v1 maybe, but still. Cloud9's conversions have been poor, to say the least. They have enough opening picks to make, well, 9 rounds. Which is more than enough to win a game of Rainbow Six, if you didn't know that. It's a shame that we have this trend so far. It's a shame that they've not been able to mount something more convincing on their defenses, but not if you're an NB fan. You saw that 7-0 against Cruelty yesterday. You're hoping for more, especially hoping that this team, that while they're not in their debut stage anymore, they have one under their belt and are looking to prove that even if they can't be at the top, they can fight to make it into playoffs, mount something convincing. It's only day 2. There's a lot of time to play, but a win over C9 and Cruelty yesterday would do a lot to raise their team stock.
I'm a little bit concerned about the lineup, I'll be honest. I'm seeing the Aurora brought. Now we know that Envy is a relatively new roster, and it is a roster that has a lot of rookie players on it. It's not... I don't get the same level of fizz I do when I see a team like SR bring in the Aurora. I kind of get a little bit more of a cold neck. Like, where are those doors getting placed? Is this well drilled? Because it does take a lot of coordination to pull this off. And you've got to be very sure in your footing. No one going to be getting in through Ops Room for the time being, as those Toxic Babes are being used liberally by Hat to deny any approach. There's the Aurora door, and there's the hop-in.
There it is. I think actually, well, we'll talk about that in a second. Snake looking to push up Rocket in the 3v5. We'll find one. Giddy sticking his face where it doesn't belong. Silent 2 looking to get antsy. 5v3 suddenly returns to balance. As Envy initially struggle, completely repelled by Kobulax, yet they find success on the opposite side. Rocket, very much their territory, yet look at all the utility in their way. Smoke's liberal with those toxic canisters because Dream, he is frugal, he is fickle with those Shumika canisters, and he's still got 12. Make that 11 to fire and burn away. Potential territory for C9 to gain. The Bees will claw Kobulax around the corner. Bailiff in close, but a good trade by Dream. That's the kind of team play we want to see work. But another 1v1. It's not JJ, but Snake this time. The man who popped off yesterday for Envy will pick his teammate back up. Dream, not so lucky. Nothing like that. Hat instead, he's good with the guns, good with the SMG. His first was easy. Now the second as he hears the cue. Snake falls off. He holds, Hat playing so patiently. Not a rookie anymore. He's been here before! It's another day in the office for Hat, new on the team, but he's so good in the clutch. Tie game once again.
Hat was as cold as ice in that 1v1. There was so much going on there. We had 2 versus 2. Both players get downed. I mean, Kobulax did a great job, by the way, of picking up those 2 opening picks. The Aurora and the Blitz. Said I was worried about the Aurora. Wasn't sure where it was going to get used. It wasn't the utility that really did the damage. It was just both hopping through the door and trying to make something happen off the back of the Blitz. Well, Kobe with those 2 picks. Then we go 3 versus 3. And again, it's trade for trade. It's whittled down. 2 players down. I thought the Finker boost was the difference. I was like, well, the Finker can get the attacker up nice and quickly. The other player's got to go for the revive, and it should have been the difference maker, really. But Hat just able to split those engagements down.
5 seconds left.
Also, Ollie. Kobe did the thing. Kobe did the thing again.
What's the thing?
I'm pretty sure the birth of VAR last stage came from
right.
Kobe throwing the Gershmont on that window to stop the shield play, and he just did the exact same thing there. Got him 2 kills. I've seen that one before. I know your tricks. Envy clearly didn't. Caught them off guard.
VAR.
I'm pretty sure that was actually the birth of VAR. Because because I was pouring through that replay.
No, I remember.
It's a really clever play, and Kobe is very confident and very, very good at timing it. Pay attention, by the way. You to your protein. Pay attention to that. Kobe loves doing that. Ban the yellow. Think you don't need to ban the yellow. Just be ready for that. By the way, again, another opening pick for C9, and sure they win it, but it comes down to a 1v1. This has been an extremely difficult game. Not just because it's a 5v5, but they have started with an advantage every single time since round 3. 7 rounds in a row. That's a full regulation game of Rainbow Six right there. That Cloud9 have had an opening pick and have failed to convert it about almost half of those times. It is a difficult trend. They're doing good with this utility so far. JJ has wanted to push down these stairs, push into this room against Kobe for so long, and they are stalling so successfully. As Emilio looks to take this back line, Emilio's backstab of his own will work. An advantage for Envy, advantage compounded. Blitz might fall, but they get so much in return. 1v1, 1v2 is one thing. Does Hat have a 1v4 in him? We'll have to find out.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
I'm going to say no. But then again, I could be seen as a bit of a hater. Hat's already had some nice clips here tonight, but this does feel like a step too far. Especially with how much time is remaining, and given that he is on the Fenrir, it's not like he's got a C4 to assist him. It's going to be rookie onto rookie. Aiden to close things out there and to give Envy a chance at converting this and walking away with a full 3 points here tonight.
Even just confirming 1 point, very, very good. Now find themselves at 4. Which might not seem like a lot, but this was a team that found themselves all the way at the bottom last stage. And already they're making very good progress early on against a team that could be one of their biggest opponents. We're not expecting Envy to put up crazy showings against SSG, Shopify, DZ, though against the second team I just mentioned, they did go all the way to OT in stage 1, so keep that in mind. This is what we want to see, this improvement. Not just getting these victories, but also showing that this new pickup Aiden is really working out. His cost isn't the best, he's actually below 50 so far, but in a best of 1, for a new pickup, somebody that's able to get you, I mean, basically 2 rounds so far on the attack. Round 7 with a 3K and that one with a 3K as well. Starting in the disadvantage both times in a 4v5. In a best of 3, 45 cost isn't great. In a best of 1, I don't care as long as you get the job done in 2 rounds. And so far that's what he's done. In a close game, that's what matters. And Aiden, even if it's not consistent, is still paying off.
And that's the key, isn't it? It's about doing the job in the moment. You could have a decent cost and still walk away with a loss and have a lot of impactless kills there. Or you could be picking up those 1 or 2 kills that are really tipping the scale in your favor. The way that Envy are moving at the moment, this looks like it could be something quite fast and furious. Finkerstim, Laz poised and ready, EMP's getting sent out. There's only one way this goes.
Only one way. Only one way in, but multiple ways out. JJ could get killed. Coverage could fall. But that smoke comes in so late. JJ gets away with almost half HP. Takes some on the exit, but he's not worried whatsoever. Crazy pre-fire from Kobe to make it a 4v4. It's not a retake, though. Envy might not have direct control of the site, but it's the angles that are the problem. This glass falling back. Somebody can hop in and retake bottom green for Envy as well. A lot of options and a lot of redundancy specifically on this diffuser. Kobilax tries to peek, but he's too slow. Too lackadaisical with it. JJ's ready, Emilio's ready, and Envy are ready to prove themselves inside of the NA League. How's 2 dubs in a row for you right out the gate? Not 1, not 2, 6 points in 2 days. That is what we want to see.
It's a very impressive start to the stage here for Envy. I love to see teams on a big glow up. The way that they've operated tonight has been very impressive. Able to work at multiple different levels. It's very clear to me that the shot calling on this team has improved drastically from where it was inside of stage 1. And I can't wait to watch them for the rest of the stage. For tonight, We're going to send you back to the desk for one last time.
Another one's coming. Another one swinging breach. Run, swinging now.
Security done.
Nice. 4v1. Green lobby. Green lobby.
Let's
go! Good
Let's
shit.
fucking go!
Come on, baby!
Y'all are shit.
Fucking go!
Oh my god.
Yo, that's 3.
2-0. Another 3 points for Envy as they close it out in regulation, and they still sit atop the NAL in Stage 2. What a start it has been. And we're going to welcome in the man we've talked a lot about so far this stage, Aiden, the newest addition to this roster. Welcome to T1, my friend. Your debut has been amazing to watch. How does it feel? Just take me in your mind for a moment. What is it like playing with these players, playing against some people you've been watching for so long?
Dude, it feels great, bro. Like, this is like my dream, bro, and like we're just fucking shit up. Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but I'm just so confident in this sack, bro. It's just so much fun to play with them, and I'm excited for next week.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you guys have been playing really great. Hopefully, week 2 continues with the trend of you guys winning. That being said, obviously, maybe you've been watching some of these players, you know, from the screen. Now you're playing against them. How does that feel? Does it feel almost surreal? Not only are you playing against them, but you're beating them. What is that feeling like?
It is to an extent, but like at the same time, like you can't respect names. Like, so of course, like you gotta respect names before you play them. But when you get into the game, bro, you gotta think that you're better than everybody else. You gotta think your team's the best. You gotta go in there and kick some ass, bro.
Right. Now you say you don't respect names. Nah, this might just be a crazy poll, but is there any name in the scene so far in the NAL that you don't that you respect the least?
Oh, Kobe Lax for sure. I was happy to get this done. I don't think he's good at all. I was really happy in this win. Another thing, this is from JJ. He really wanted to do this interview, but you guys called upon the king. But he said, Kobe and Giddy, you guys ran him in T2, but 0-2 in T1. The lights are too bright. So, yeah. Yo, shout out Fox A too, bro. I'm happy you took a chance on me on the fantasy team. I'm a huge fantasy basketball guy.
Dude, of course.
Yeah,
I was looking at the roster and everything. I was like, I don't know. I got like high hopes.
Why not?
I got high hopes.
Yeah.
I feel like there's only up to go.
Well,
Yes, indeed.
Aiden, obviously I want to say congratulations on one performance, not only come from the Cruelty game, but even your performance here today. I mean, I want to kind of know, you know, everything that you've done in T2 and what's built up into this. I mean, what's kind of been the biggest takeaway so far, just in your first 2 matches, than your experience was and has been in T2?
Well, I didn't play that much of T2, but it honestly is just like, you know, the comms are way more important than like mechanics. Like that is just the biggest takeaway, is that just calling what you do.
I already like you more than the
outs.
vast majority of newer players that come into this. Just for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I used to watch
alone.
y'all two all the time, bro. I loved watching y'all two on OXG.
I appreciate it.
Wait,
Right, yeah.
Who'd y'all watch more?
Who'd you like more?
I was a TSM fan, unfortunately.
All right, well,
You know, I was a
back
Dick
to
Rider.
the original question. What were your just biggest takeaways?
Just like focus on comms, you know, focus on playing off your teammates. You gotta be creative. You gotta come up with plays. There's 50 operators in the game. You know, you gotta know when to power, when to flank, like just talking to your teammates and coming up with plays to stop what they're doing. You can't be reactive. You gotta be proactive, bro. If they're doing a push, you gotta come up with a plan to stop it, or multiple plans to stop multiple possibilities, bro. There's infinite things they could do, bro. You just gotta be ready for it all.
I do have another
You know.
question. Were you hesitant of taking the offer onto Envy knowing that you were going to be joining a last place team? Did that not sway your option or even your thought process of, you know, coming into T1?
I mean, they wanted Hat before me, but they all admit that was the biggest mistake of all time. But
How are you feeling about
like,
that?
I'm feeling great, bro. I'm happy to be able to give them the opportunity to shine. You know, it's awesome. Just no, they took a chance on me, and I'm happy to first 2 play days held my own. But I thought about, like, I was bouncing between console and PC. I didn't really know what I was gonna do. You know, I really hadn't been streaming much, but I was like, you know, they weren't gonna try me out. I didn't have a tryout. They had a tryout with Merc, but Mert canceled last second. They were like, oh, let's just scrim, you know, why not? So they hit up me and they were like, oh, do you want to scrim? Like, they literally told me, like, Rival told me on the side where he's like, you know, like, we're not, they offered me one and they took it back. And like, we're, you know, you're not that, like, we only want serious options. And then they, like, Mert canceled. I got a tryout, and they said they just, like, they fell in love with me. They said they love playing with me. And, you know, that, you know, like, it's like a God-given chance. Like, what are the odds that they, like, you know, that Mert cancels and I get the spot and I kill it? And, you know, I would have taken anything besides like cruelty, maybe C9. Nah, I'm kidding. I was just looking for an opportunity to shine, and they gave it to me, and I'm so grateful.
Nah, I love that. All right, last question. Sorry, I keep pestering you with these questions. I'm sure you want to celebrate with the boys. Which community is harder to go against? Is it the Xbox community or the PlayStation community?
All right. So if you were to look at everybody who's good on console, it's all, you can see a PlayStation in my nasty ass room on the PS4 remote. Oh wait, wrong way. You can see the PS4 remote like at the bottom of my dresser. So I am PlayStation, and there was more PlayStation than Xbox, but the GOAT was on Xbox. Like that stopping kids got it. Yeah, I mean PlayStation's definitely better overall, but Xbox did have the best player.
All right, Aiden. Well, obviously an incredible performance from you today. We didn't talk too much about that because we wanted to talk about your experience as a whole. But we're super excited to continuing to see you develop, continuing to top frag, and hopefully continuing to rack up those victories. Thanks so much.
No problem. You guys have a blessed day.
You too, man. What a finish, and what an interview. This guy's got some energy.
I love the personality already. He gets it already. I mean, one, he came into this saying it's not just about mechanics, it's about the actual team play and the communication. That's a huge thing to understand already coming into this. But again, I mean, the personality on this kid, I mean, I love it personally.
I think that's one of the biggest things, obviously, that makes a team work, too. You need to be able to have people that are having fun, having a good time, that want to be there, and at the same time are also trying to make things better. And I feel like that's life that a team that was ranked at the bottom obviously needs, because you don't find out how difficult it is when you have people that are quiet or not necessarily, you know, having the best time when they're playing until you're in the server. And let's say one round doesn't go in your favor and they chalk the whole mentality. So obviously having someone that's having a good time, happy to be there, and obviously wants to win despite, let's say, if they lose a round or two, that goes like a long way. And especially for a player to just come in, join the scene, join the last place team, makes it that much better.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, I don't want to take anything away from Envy at all. Their team play throughout this matchup, granted, it was a good game from Cloud9 as well, but this is what I wanted to see on their attacks. Just being able to lock down a site, executing flawlessly, holding angles, not over-aggressing. Even on that last round, that post plant was beautifully orchestrated, well demonstrated on how well they can play into those strengths, play into those crossfires, not needing to get overzealous. There were so many different scenarios that I can pick apart that I'm going to especially elaborate on going into next week. Envy has really ramped up their performance in terms of whether that's they're just double scrimming, whether they're just taking from what happened from stage 1 and now adding it to stage 2. I mean, they are looking dividends better than what we saw previously.
I hate to just add it in there, but like Cloud9 is the same story. Like great preparation, they're figuring out their problems as they go, and then in those later rounds, like the last 2-3 rounds, they're just getting almost clean swept. They just keep running out of gas. And I don't know if that's a vibes thing inside of the server once they lose 1-2 rounds when the pressure's on and the energy gets dead. I don't necessarily know if they run out of preparation or if they just don't have enough people communicating to the IGL table to work to problem solve. And that's the second time that we've been able to see Cloud9 gets so close, but then it's a drastic difference from the start of the game to the end of the game. It looks like two different teams, and that's something that just needs to stop going into week 2.
But for Envy to take advantage of that and to close it out in regulation to cap off our day today, massive job by the boys on Envy to get those full 3 points. But here's how the day shook out. At 4 p.m. we started with M80 in standby. Of course, Dark Zero and Shopify Rebellion, the match just an hour ago. That one really stuck out, Laxing. It's been quite a day.
Yeah, again, another day of nothing but competition. Sure, you could write off the wild card versus Space Station game, but even that, I mean, just looking at that scoreline doesn't really speak into some of those rounds that they did come out close. Even in that last round where Spiker gets that huge kill over the Blitz, I mean, that realistically could have kept the game going. But again, our NAL stage so far has been extremely competitive compared to what we saw in the first week of the first play day.
When we started the day, nobody would have anticipated that SSU Wildcard would have been the most of a blowout game. Okay, well, maybe you did, I guess, obviously.
You thought it was going to be a blowout, not just a wild card win?
I mean, I knew they were going to win. I think it was going to be a blowout.
Right. But that being said, that much, a 7-2, yes, it's not indicative of how close SSU was in some of those rounds, but obviously Wildcard came to play. But every single game so far has matched up. I mean, even Cruelty keeping it close with OXG, Envy winning today. It's been so competitive, and I'm happy to see the teams that were at the bottom of the leaderboard starting off way hotter than they were, keeping everything that much closer.
Well, that brings us to the blacklight detail of the day. In our marquee matchup of the day, it was Rexen in round 15 to put Shopify Rebellion over the line that really captivated us.
Again, I think this is a no-brainer. This has to be the blacklight detail, just for the simple fact of how close this game really was, and in this round particular. Pamba, like I said, getting a big 3K, trying to bring this round into their favor, get it to close it out. But Rexen had the big heads-up play, knowing that he just had to play the bomb here to leave Ambi off on an island, but playing the position that needed to be played here, which was holding this angle, holding this cross to make sure that he can deny any plant trying to be made in archives. And again, Rexen, this is what makes a good player from a great player, is understanding the win percentage here, knowing he gets that down, fall back, take the challenge here on the player that wants to over-aggress to try to secure it, and he does it flawlessly. The split-second decision-making, once again, proving why Rexen is one of the greats.
And that was just one of several moments in that game that we could have highlighted as the blacklight detail. We were discussing it. Is it going to be the retake that Canadian and Spoit did? It really came close. But that one was, as we said, just one of the several competitive matchups we had today that results in the standings that are in front of us now. Envy at the top. Their round differential of 9 has them tiebreaker currently over M80, which is at 5. They both have 6 points. Wildcard, Shopify, both with 4. Dark Zero and Oxygen close behind.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes without saying. Envy already succeeding so well. I mean, we were making jokes earlier with #1 team in attack, #1 team. But obviously, it's still true. Yes, they did go up against Cruelty and Cloud9. There's going to be some bigger fish to fry that are coming down the pipeline. But obviously, every point matters. And those 2 wins could be the difference maker between being top 6 and being at the bottom 3, bottom 4. So obviously, great showing from them. And, you know, all the other teams still got a lot of ways to go before anything's set in stone, but the more points you get, the more overtimes, even if you lose, sets you better for when the later dates come.
And this was just week 1. To think we still have so much Siege X action here in stage 2 of the NAL. Next week, looking ahead, Day 1, we are still going to see some more back and forth, potentially very interesting matchups. Cloud9, they'll go up against Shopify Rebellion. That'll be our second matchup of the day. But Envy will get their next test, this time against Standby.
Yeah, that'll still be another interesting one. I've actually been pretty excited to see what Standby has been bringing to the table. Sure, they aren't getting the wins that they so desperately need, but they are looking better from what we've seen the previous stage. And as for Envy, what we saw today, I'm looking for that to be exactly replicated the exact same way going into that matchup. But if you were to ask me what is my most excited game I'm looking forward to, I would have to see that M80 versus Wildcard.
Really? M80 versus Wildcard should be a lot closer. Wildcard performed very well today. I mean, for me, there's no real one game that I feel like you can pick a favorite, but it's not going to be necessarily a blowout. I feel like every team's been competing so well. I'm really looking forward to Standby Envy. I just want to keep seeing Envy perform well and excel and grow and learn, even despite winning games. Like, take the losses, then rounds, and then progress from there. I feel like they have everything in their power right now to do so, so I just want to keep seeing them succeed.
All right, well, quite a week, quite a couple days. Thanks for having me. I'm going to step aside, unfortunately, after this week, but Ginny, thank God, will be back with you guys, so you'll have a good time with her. But until then, we look forward to next week, where Stage 2 on the NAL continues. Thank you so much for watching. As always, it's been a pleasure to have you. For our entire studio crew, our producers Ferme and Jasmine, our director Ian, and for Foxay and Laxing, I'm Jonas Willinger saying thanks for watching. The NAL will continue next week. We'll see you then. Have a great night.